Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man's Core Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm reacting to my second Spooky Vibes video for you guys, and this was titled 3 True Mother's Day Horror Stories. Now, I should be reacting to this on Mother's Day, but I figured I'd go ahead and react to it now and get it over with so you guys get to watch it. I'm going to turn these lights off again, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
Last year, my boyfriend and I decided that we would visit his parents for Mother's Day weekend. His parents lived up in the mountains, in a pretty secluded cabin house out in Colorado.
Sounds nice.
I haven't met his parents yet at this point, and I had never been to Colorado, so I figured it was a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't met his family yet? You might as well take the trip with him to go see his parents and spend some time up in Colorado with him. Sounds like a good idea for a trip so far, but let's just continue on and see what happens, shall we?
My boyfriend gave me the lowdown of his parents. He told me both his parents are pretty normal. However, his mom was in a wheelchair. She has permanent leg paralysis, and it's impossible for her to move her legs. That did not bother me at all. I would not treat her any differently than I would somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, I wouldn't treat her differently either. Always treat him with respect, even though they got something wrong with him that's making them not be able to walk. That's just heartbreaking.
When we got to the cabin, it was a great sunny day. We ended up cooking steaks on the grill and having drinks as the sun went down. Overall, it was a great Mother's Day celebration, and both his parents were really loving and caring. However, things drastically changed when we all went to bed that night. Since we lived in Pennsylvania, our plan was to stay the weekend at the cabin house for Mother's Day and then leave Monday morning. Well, my boyfriend and I were sleeping in the guest bedroom. It was very late, like 2 a.m., when I woke up to a noise. It was pitch black in our bedroom, and I thought it could have been the cabin house creaking or the wind blowing the trees outside.
No, I don't think so. I got a bad feeling that somebody just walked into your bedroom. One of his parents, which that would be kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm kind of guessing at this point, so let's just continue on and see what happens.
When I saw something very disturbing. In the corner of our room, crawling around on the ground, making these weird slurping noises, was my boyfriend's mom. Not like crawling on her arms, but full-on crab walking around the ground, her back arched and sniffing like a dog.
Okay, that's a little weird. I wouldn't have thought that the boyfriend's mom would be like that if she's in a wheelchair. At this point, I'd be like telling him to wake up and see what's going on here.
I was so confused because she was supposed to be bound to a wheelchair, but here she was, crawling around in the guest bedroom at 2 a.m., as if she had no leg paralysis. It honestly freaked me the fuck out, so I quickly laid my head back down on my pillow, pretending to be asleep. Seconds later, I could feel her hot breath all over my face. She was sniffing me hard. I did not dare open my eyes, and I tried my best to pretend that I was in a deep sleep. Terrifying minutes went by, and she eventually stopped sniffing me and crawled back out of the room. Believe me, I did not get a second of sleep that night. The next morning, we had our things packed up and ready to go. I tried to play it cool as my boyfriend and I said goodbye to his parents. But just as I finished up giving his mom a hug, she pulled me in close and whispered in my ear, "I know you were awake last night." She gave me this crazed, demented smile, and then waved us goodbye. This happened last year, and I have not said a word about the incident to my boyfriend. I don't even know how to bring it up. He wants us to go back up there again this Mother's Day, and I seriously am terrified to see his mom again. I think I need to tell him. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, you might want to tell him. He might not believe you at first, but if he sees how terrified you are, then he'll start to question his mom, which she'll probably deny it, thinking that his girlfriend's crazy at first. Unless his mom was able to get the strength to get out of her chair and crawl like a crab, and then she's probably messed up in the head. But that's crazy. Well, all luck goes to her, and let's get to story number 2.
Every year, it's a tradition for the kids, my wife, and I to go up to my parents' house to celebrate Mother's Day. And in this story, that was no different. When this story takes place, I was in my mid-40s, and my mom and dad were in their late 70s. Anyway, when me and the family arrived at my parents' house, we were greeted by my dad, but we did not see my mom. My dad said she was just upstairs finishing a nap. She wasn't feeling too hot, but would come down later to see us.
I would feel bad at that moment too, but if she says she'll come down later, then you know she's okay, or she probably got some sort of flu bug or some other condition going on, which I hope it ain't the case, but I don't know what's going to happen here, so let's just keep on going, shall we?
This kind of bummed us all out, because it was Mother's Day, and we all wanted to see her. But we figured it was best for her to just get a rest, and that we would see her later in the day when she came down. We headed to the backyard, where my dad fired up the grill and threw some burgers on them. I was speaking with my wife when the grill suddenly burst into flames. I ran over. My dad seemed very confused and did not know what to do to put the fire out. I ran inside real quick, grabbed the fire extinguisher under the counter, and sprinted outside to put the fire out. We were all startled a bit, and that's when I noticed how bad my dad's mental condition seemed to be. It worried me that he was very flustered and almost seemed like he was going to have a mental breakdown when the fire started.
Okay, if the dad has a mental condition, I wouldn't even trust him near a grill, because it seemed like he would accidentally make it flame up and don't know how to control it, like this dad is, like he's having problems with. Thankfully, the son here ran into the house to get the fire extinguisher, put it out. I'll tell the dad, it's all right, I got this.
And that's when I realized my mom had still not come downstairs to see us yet. And I had this good feeling that I needed to go upstairs and check on her right away. I told my wife to stay where she was in the backyard with my dad while I went upstairs. I should have known something was off from the moment I arrived, because the second that I got to the top of the steps, I could smell something horrid. I mean, truly horrid. Like meat rotting in the hot sun for days.
Oh no! Don't tell me his dad lost it and killed his mom. Oh man, that would be a gruesome sight to see for sure. And here I was thinking that she probably had a sick bug. I should have known better.
Not sure what to expect or see, I slowly made my way to my parents' bedroom door and opened it. Lying in the bed was my mother, or rather, what was left of my mother. I cannot go into full detail of how she looked. It was extremely disturbing and heartbreaking. But my mother was dead and rotting in her bed. And it turns out she had been dead for over 10 days. My dad's mental condition had gotten very bad. He had not even realized that she had died. He thought she was simply not feeling well and was sleeping. He was literally falling asleep next to her corpse every night. Unfortunately, we had to send my father to a hospital where he is now. He's not doing well mentally, and I am scared for him. And I dread that I've lost my mother and had to find her rotting corpse. It was all truly a nightmare, and I just hope that everyone else has a positive, good Mother's Day.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Here I was thinking that it was the dad's fault because he killed her, but apparently the mom might have died and he didn't realize it, thinking that she was still sleeping. It's sad to think that you're celebrating Mother's Day and you had to find your mom rotting upstairs and your father had to be put into a hospital for his mental state. Hope they could find some medicine that will help his mind heal, or I hate to say it, but he might slip into slow madness. It might end up ending his own life. I'm just sorry that that had to happen to you guys on Mother's Day. That's truly sad and gut-wrenching.
Every family has that one person who's a little batshit crazy. And unfortunately, in this story, it's my mom. To put it bluntly, my mother is ultra religious. She sees sin everywhere, tells people they're going to go to hell because of their outfits and all that kind of stuff. It got so bad that my dad actually divorced her because he could not take the constant eradication of sin. And when I grew up and was old enough to live independently, I also separated myself from my mom. Well, in this story, I had just had my firstborn son, Tristan. I was 25, had my own home, and had a pretty successful concrete business. When Tristan was born, I had a desire to rekindle things with my mom. I know she's off the deep end with the religion, but I thought maybe she had changed, and maybe we did not have to be a splintered family.
I hate to tell you this, but sometimes when people are like that, where they're really true into religious faith, which is nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, sometimes they won't change their ways. They see you with a certain hairstyle, clothing, or what type of music you're listening to, or what movie you're watching that's sinful in their ways, then she'll keep saying it's blasphemy or whatever. But I hope that they're able to rekindle some things, but if not, you don't want your son around her at all.
It was Mother's Day, and I decided to throw a party for my wife, her mother, and my mother at my house. And I was kind of nervous inviting my mom because I had not seen or heard from her since I was like 18. For the most part, the Mother's Day party was going pretty well. People were swimming in our pool, eating hamburgers and hot dogs, and just enjoying each other's company. There was a point in the party where we had all gathered inside to pour champagne for the mothers in our lives. As my wife poured the champagne, that's when I realized I could not find Tristan. He wasn't even one yet at this point, and I started to freak out. My wife said not to worry. Tristan was with my mom outside by the pool. I went to the kitchen window and looked outside. At first, I could only see my mom standing in the pool, but I could not see Tristan anywhere.
Oh no, she did not. If that baby's not even one yet, I wouldn't even trust him in the pool. But I'll be mad as fire and brimstone if she drowned that kid.
And that's when I noticed the thrashing of water and little hands flailing. In an utter shock of horror, I realized my mother was holding my son underwater. I sprinted outside and jumped into the pool. I literally shoved my mother away, but pulled my gasping son out of the water. He was coughing up water and bawling his eyes out. I realized I needed to get him to a hospital right away because I did not know if he had any brain damage. But before I did, I turned to my mother. She just looked at me and said, "What? I was just getting rid of the sin that's in his life." On that day, I officially disowned my mother from the family. My son ended up being okay at the hospital, and he's fine now. But we no longer speak of or acknowledge my mom in any way, and I do not even feel bad about that. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Unbelievable. They can't just have a good time at the Mother's Day party and not mess it up. But no, his mother, with her really strict religious bindings on her, had to take his newborn baby and dunk him in the pool like she was giving a baptism. No, he hasn't even experienced sin yet. I don't even know why you have to do that now. And if the parents wanted him to be baptized at an early age like that, they would have took him to their church and had their preacher do a little baptism ritual there, not in the pool. I don't blame you for disowning her because that's just way too out of line. She could have drowned that kid. I'm just glad that baby's okay and they're no longer in speaking terms with his mom. I can see why his dad divorced her. Golly, she is just twisted in the head. I'll say this, it's good to have religion in your life, but don't keep preaching on it all the time unless something really bad was happening in your life. Because parents that act like that will make their kids scared of them for life. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more spooky vibes, reactions like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.